again, I was sharing it the other day. You don't have to like be at work, get up on top of the desk with a Bible, and start saying, "Oh, y'all gonna be saved before we get up out of work today." You probably will also be out without a job after that day. But I shared this the other day, just engaging people. So see, now if I'm spending that communion with God and I'm spending time with God, I engage people with that, and I'm so filled up with overflowing. Before you know it, you were saying that. You were saying the young lady was saying she was so encouraged by what you were sharing. You was like, well, I learned that basically spending time with God, being at church, being in fellowship. So you can get this too, pretty much. I mean, that's the attitude. And then that's why you could tell, and we could tell people that that's how you gauge leaders. You gauge leaders that people want to follow. But not just follow for you to control, but follow you to Christ. So you have some people have all types of stats, but nobody follows them. You know, like nobody wants what you have. But it would make sense if you live in a superficial life. They're just humoring you, but they don't want what you have because they don't see you fulfilled, right? So thank you. I thought that was excellent. We're going to do it a little different. I wanted to fill these questions in the time that we have remaining, so me and my wife will fill the questions. But if there's anybody out there that have a comment or question, I'm going to pass the mic on to them also. I'm going to do these first couple because I think I could do this a little pretty quick. One of them is, how did Israel create fornication? And fornication is sexual sin. And actually, fornication is sexual immorality. So it's not just having sex. So, because then, then you can get away with the masturbation, the porn, and all those other things. But it's really a perverted intimacy. God intended for intimacy, for the two to become one with his presence in the midst of that. Sexual immorality is being intimate, it's a whole nother level of okay, we understand the actual physical act is one level of intimacy, but thinking about what you focus on, what you lock in on, whether it's pornography or things of that, the perversion, you meditate on it. Remember, the scripture says you commit fornication when you think about it first. Mm-hmm. If the scripture says if you had thought about adultery, you might as well go ahead and do it, because you've allowed that thought not just to be in your head or in your mind, but to camp out, be resident, become a stronghold, and now you're going to eventually act on that thing. Because most of the things you end up doing that you feel bad about, it really was not spur of the moment. You may think it is, but you meditate on that thing long enough, you'll end up living that thing out. And so what they did was their thoughts. Again, we're talking about real love, and I was teaching on real worship, which is a lot of parallel, because worship is the ultimate expression of love. So they were worshiping Israel, and I think the other scriptures, Revelations 10, the other person, they were their intimacy was with the world, but it was not with God. And so they, instead of being in communion with God, they were in communion with the world. So it was that was a perversion, or that was an abomination, or that was immoral.
Like spiritual adultery.
Yeah, like spiritual adultery. And then, what is the best place to meet someone that is keepable? In the place that you meet the keepable person.
Yeah, that's good.
Because there's no like specific place.
No.
Yeah, no. Everything is just customized. Honestly, a lot of times we be messing stuff up. It's almost like the rendezvous was set up. God set up the rendezvous for that day, but since we weren't obedient, we missed that appointment. So now we gotta. All right. Well, okay. Take down the set. We can stage it down here tomorrow. At the restaurant. Ah, man, I told them to go to the restaurant. They went over here. Okay, that's not gonna work. Oh, set it up at church. Man, they slept in. You know what I'm saying? You know, so yeah, you know what I'm saying? They was on the conference line that day. Like actually, I had a job set up for somebody, but they didn't come to church that day. But the person came to church. You know, that had the company. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't meet their appointment that day. You know, so the thing is, the scripture says all things work together for good for those who love the Lord and are called according to, in harmony with his purpose. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. If we're in communion and we're just obedient to his steps, it's wherever, you know. I mean, we give our testimony that we met at church because we did, but everybody ain't meeting at church. You just, not that they're not at church, just they ain't meeting that right person at church. All right, so those were pretty quick and easy.
Oh, okay. Is it okay to seek outside advice from your current, from your current relationship? Oh, about your current relationship. So is it okay to seek outside advice about your current relationship? Mom, dad, sister, and bestie. Excuse me. I would answer that no. And the reason why is because if you are in a relationship, and particularly marriage, if you're in a marriage, that is not good to be able to, and even if you're not in a marriage, to be honest with you, because as you're meeting someone and dating someone or in a relationship with someone, you are getting to know them and you're going through maybe some debates and things like that. But once you guys get over whatever it is that you're dealing with, then now your mom, your dad, your sister, and your bestie is like, girl, you need to get rid of him. Now, you done made up with them, but they didn't see that. So they're still mad at what that person did to you. So that would not be best.
Can I give an example?
Good example.
I won't say the person's, just in case you're watching. I'm going to let you off the hook. We have a close family member that was really hurt. So they came to us and they told us they were hurt. And so I asked the key question. So I was like, okay, are you done? I'm done. Like, no, I just need to know. Are you done? Like, done. I'm done. Like, okay, I just want to know, like, are you gonna come back next week and I'm not done?
Right.
No, this is it. I'm done. So, and based on what happened to the person, it's believable that they were done. So that's why I was at, but I still had to, you still had to make sure. So if I could use like a military term, so we went on like DEFCON 5, which is like high alert. So high alert means we're protecting the person that we care about. The other person, stay away from that person because we don't want that person to be hurt. So don't use us to gain access to hurt that person. Makes sense so far, right? All right, so we didn't know they reconciled because the person that told us they was done never told us.
Right.
So a year and a half had went by. And so we were wondering why the person that we're close to, our interaction changed. Then folks just was tripping. And see, I don't do well with tripping because I like to confront and let's talk about it. So I think I told my wife, I said, listen, call them up, we all meeting today. But I didn't say, and I'm a nice guy, but I didn't say it was optional. I was kind of like, no, we meeting today. Because I said, I don't be playing all these games. I said, y'all keep playing games you want. So when we sat down, it was like, well, I don't understand why you doing this, that, and the other. I let everybody talk, and then I said, this is what my issue is. I said, I don't have any problem with you guys reconciling. I said, you didn't tell us to take off the high alert.
Right.
I said, so this person's bothered because of how we're interacting, but we're interacting where we are because of what you said.
Right.
Now, you done been a year and a half changed, but you ain't tell us. So we rolling like we normally roll. Like we don't know that we're supposed to. It's okay to take the high alert off. See, so that's what happens sometimes. Once you expose us to the situation, we're gonna be. We love the person that we're closely connected. Like if they tell me something, I love them, and then so I'm on high alert. Like, well, I'm not gonna let nobody do such and such. But then they can go and operate. They could have forgiven the person, but they didn't tell me. So I'm like, are they playing games? Are they manipulating? I have no idea. So it's best to not even tell me how you feel.
I just want to just kind of say that your parents will always be your parents, and to be honest with you, they're going to always have an allegiance towards you. And so let's say you guys do get serious and you move on in a relationship, and you go to your mom about what happened to, you know, he did something to you that was inappropriate or whatever. Well, your mom's first allegiance, right, it's going to be towards you. A case in point, you know, we have a son who had some issues, and his wife, you know, did some things, and honestly, they forgave each other, but it was very difficult for me because I wasn't there when she told him, looked him in his eyes and said, you know, hey, I'm really sorry about what I did, honey, please forgive me. I wasn't there. So I didn't see that whole reconciliation. So I'm just hearing, and that still doesn't penetrate my heart. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to always be like, no, that's my boy. You know what I'm saying? I have allegiance towards my boy. You know, and so it's kind of dangerous a little bit when because now the way I would see her can be altered a little bit just based on what I was hearing from her or from him about her. You see what I'm saying? And I had to love her.
The emphasis is if you cross over into a covenant.
Right.
Like right now you are young, you're dating. So, I mean, our son probably calls us about everything too, but there's certain things we don't want to know.
I don't want to know. No,
especially if you're going to continue in the like if you're in a marriage and you're going to continue in a relationship, I don't want to know because now you rolling like everything's good, but I got the information, and I'm like, I'm probably looking at her like, oh, you want me to strangle you? I won't strangle nobody. You understand the point? Go ahead.
Right. That was it.
That's good. And then, well, since we're keeping it real at the Real Love Conference, you're not looking for people like your parents. None of us. You know why? Because you'll never find no one like your parents. There may be some similar traits and behaviors because, again, we go through it in premarital counseling. The gender differences. Some things are just gender specific, but if you don't know that, you'll be thinking they're personality specific. Like, oh, they're just like such and such. No, that's just gender. Yeah, you know, that's what men do. That's what females do. And like, there's some things that get you frustrated. Like I'm trying to let go of the whole thing. I'm making them sweat, but you could be making them sweat for something that's
he's not even sweating.
Well, not even that he's not just that he's not sweating, but you could be bothered with something that's a part of his gender. So, for example, let's say if he was too dark for you, and I'm just giving you, I'm just giving you. This is just an analogy. Yeah. See how far-fetched that sounds? Like you a little bit too dark. When you get a little lighter, then come holler at me. But if you're bothered with something that's specific to a person's gender, it's the same thing. They can't change it like they can't change the color of their skin because that's a part. But if you don't know it's a specific, like sometimes, like when we got together, there's things that she expected me to do, to know, and to act like. It ain't happening. Not because I'm Neanderthal. Or I'm hard. That's not my gender. She got it honestly. She was birthed with it. But you expected me to do it. She act like she went through basic training or something, and she achieved the test of time, and now I'm more sensitive. No, you got it when you showed up. You didn't put no. I gotta put in work to be as sensitive to you.
That's true.
You ain't had to put in no work, but now you rolling like. See, if you was like you rolling like me.